Welcome to the Vanderpod, the leporine and legendary podcast of Vandersnatch Books. We are a small press publisher of treasures found off the beaten path for lovers of all that is good, true, and beautiful. I'm Carrie Givens, and once again, I must apologize, listeners, for my rough voice. I was yodeling in a Bavarian snowstorm, and a mountain goat frolicked away with it. But anyway, today I am joined by my friend, author S.D. Smith. S.D. Smith is the author of The Green Ember and its accompanying novels, as well as the co-author of the Jack Zulu books. He's also the founder of Story Warren, a website for families who want to foster holy imagination in the kids in their lives, and one of the voices and minds behind The Green Writer, a writing course and podcast for kids who want to go and grow as writers. I'm excited to talk with Sam about his books, his story, and how having successful stories impacts the creative life. So, Samuel Dennison Smitherton, as our Withy Windle friends like to call you, welcome to the Vanderpod, Sam.
I am so happy to be here. You've introduced a new word to my lexicon, the leporine.
Leporine is rabbity.
Oh, right. That's better than lupine.
It is. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well worth it. Well worth it. We've all learned something here today. I think we can probably just wrap up early. I feel like we've got there.
Honestly, if there was a way to earn money introducing people to new words, I would have a perfect job. Like, that's just my favorite thing, is fun words. So, you know. Man,
can I give you one? I don't want to derail you already.
Please.
But
no.
I just learned this the other day, which is that nickname, that the original word was not had anything to do with Nick or Nicholas or anything like that. Mm-hmm. That it had to do with Eke, your Eke name, which means similar.
Your Eek. Yep, it's your
name.
Eek name.
That's it, Eek name. Eek. So your Eek name, and then people would say an Eke name.
An Eek name.
An Eek name.
And it went through rebracketing, which is another wonderful thing.
Rebracketing, great. I love that. That's a good one for me. So
Yeah. It's when, like, an apron did the same thing. We used to have naprins, but now we have an apron. Because the N moved from one word to the other.
We should start a podcast where you just teach me words.
Oh my goodness, Sam.
I just get happy and think, wow, I love that that is so cool.
My favorite YouTube channels and podcasts are all the word nerd ones. And yes, so now where do we have in the English language? We have the word eek that we use in one place.
I'm going to eke out.
And it's to get a little bit. It's to get the last little bit out of something. It's the same word as an eek name.
Well, so I thought the eek was similar or meant kind of a...
No, it's a small name.
Small. So the last little bit. Okay, a small name.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool. Wow. Carrie, this has already been worth it.
You've just made my day. I got to talk about word nerdery.
I think we're doing it right now. I think the new podcast is happening. Just forget the Vanderpod. This is, what are we going to call this?
Forget it. Well, going on to talking to you about things, about you. Can you introduce yourself quickly beyond the accolades that I've listed already? Who is Sam Smith?
I think I probably need to hear some more accolades before I'm really prepared to have this conversation. I'm just Sam Smith. I grew up in a holler in Wayne County, West Virginia. My dad said we lived so far back in the woods that no one lived behind us. And went to the mission field. That's another thing we have in common. We're missionary kids. Mm-hmm. So I lived in South Africa for most of my teenage years and then came back to West Virginia, and I've lived here ever since. So I call myself an Afro-Latchin. And that is a big part of my sort of identity. Anybody who knows us very well knows that we're very West Virginian people, or as we like to call it, best Virginia. The best Virginia went west, they say. My dad taught us a catechism when we were little, and that was, I'm West Virginia born, West Virginia bred, and when I die, I'll be West Virginia dead. So it's probably kind of like bordering on false religion at this point, but I don't know. We're just, we people out west of the mountains, Western Virginia, we've had to we've had to kind of scrabble out an existence, away from the wealthy landowners in Richmond, and
Mm-hmm.
even that song Richmond, North of Richmond. We were thinking that a long time before that became popular. But anyway, I love West Virginia. That is part of my sort of story and identity, and we've kind of, in a lot of ways, a lot of people look down on West Virginia. Obviously, we struggled in a lot of ways, but there's some beautiful things. I met my wife at college here, a wonderful, beautiful woman. We've been together as man and wife for 26 years.
Ooh, ooh.
We have 26 children. No, one for every. No, we only have four children. I wanted five kids. Gina wanted four, so we compromised on four, and they're all great. Really grateful for this life that God's given me, and in a lot of ways, it's really a modest kind of a thing, an ordinary life,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that. And in some ways, with some of the things we've gotten to do or what's happened, it's been surprising, and I feel really
Mm-hmm.
blessed by that. And I'm grateful for this vocation where I get to love and serve families and kids. It feels like a real privilege.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So, in many times and in many places, you have told the story of how the Green Ember story came into existence. So, I'm not going to make you rehash all of that. But can you, for the listeners who haven't heard it, just give a quick recap of kind of what was the root of the Green Ember stories?
I was always kind of a storytelling dad. I used to tell my baby sister stories, and my oldest brother, told me stories when I was really little. So it just kind of seemed like a
Mm.
natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked that. I think that's just kind of a normal thing some people do. And I was always doing that with my kids. I liked that a lot. So my oldest daughter, Anne, when she was little, we had a bunch of different little serials of stories. The Girl with Golden Wings, Chance the Dog. And then one day we were on the porch and there were rabbits hopping around in the yard. And I just started telling her a story about a older sister rabbit who had a little brother, and they had these adventures. We called that story, eventually, we called that The Rabbits at Jupiter's Crossing. That's how we described it.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's still listed as in my computer, like the files for like all the Green Ember stuff is
Oh,
Rabbits at
I love
Jupiter's
that.
Crossing. And they really loved it, and I loved it, and just sort of became this thing that was our special little story time together, and
Yeah.
which was always improvised in the moment. I didn't do a lot of like, I'll sit down and plan this out or anything like that. It was very extemporaneous. Now we're really worried about using big words because I know Carrie knows all the meanings behind them, and you're gonna check me. But actually, I would probably enjoy the lesson if if you correct me. But anyway, that climax became the climax of what became the book, and the kids were just like, "Daddy, you got to write this down." And so I wrote this story, wrote the book genuinely as just this is for my kids and this is for us, and
Yeah.
this will be a thing that we'll keep in our family. And I say this, I don't, maybe people don't believe me, but I've really, when the Green Ember was written, I just thought, well, that I've already won, like the mission accomplished, check
Mm.
box, this will be in our family, and it'll be this memorial to all this time we spent together on this story. And it'll
Mm-hmm.
just be for them. And what a gift and what a special thing. And, my grandkids one day or nephews or whoever and nieces will say, hey, this is old crazy old Uncle Sam or crazy old Grandpa Sam, wrote this, and maybe they'll share it with their kids, and it'll be kind of this family thing for us.
Yeah. Yeah. As you think about writing stories back then and now, what's your personal mission or purpose in telling stories for kids?
I think it can be reduced for me into love and serve. I really think about it in terms of hospitality and generosity and
Mm-hmm.
love and service. I hear a lot of authors saying like I just write stories for myself and it's all, and I understand that in a sense. Like I like these stories a lot, but there is, because of maybe the origin of it, it's just inextricably linked to love and giving someone else a good gift.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's always been about like hospitality, always been about love. And I can't, and I don't want to extract it, but it feels like the same thing because I like it
Yeah.
too. And I think I'm not trying to like perform something that I don't care about for kids to try to like give them even just entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
let alone sort of lessons or that kind of a thing. I genuinely, I love it and I believe it. Like when I'm writing the stories, I care about, I care the way that the kids do
Mm-hmm.
about what happens, and it means a lot to me. So I think the mission could be boiled down to love and service.
I think you've done that. Like it definitely dovetails, as you said, into what the stories are about as well, and kind of what you promote in the stories. So that journey of it becoming kind of more widely popular and people are responding to it. What was that journey like for you?
It was a hectic period. The year I wrote the Green Ember, I mean, there's a whole conversation around that, but that was one of the worst years of my life. It was very, very difficult year. I had really bad health trouble. My dad had pancreatic cancer and was going through,
Mm-hmm.
he survived that and this Whipple procedure surgery, he was in the Veterans Hospital for months and months. And
Mm.
I personally was struggling with my health, honestly, with my mental health. I was really, really having a tough year. I was working a lot. I was exhausted all the time. I was working kind of multiple jobs, volunteering at church, coaching soccer for little kids, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
the sort of wits end, and I was
Mm.
really, really struggling in a lot of ways. I could kind of go deep into that. Part of me wants to say that and be honest as much as I can about that
Mm-hmm.
because of if there are other writers and people who are working on stuff, you just don't know what kind of beautiful life God can bring forth from tough circumstances. And I actually think that the book is better because
Yeah.
I think it takes pain seriously and suffering
Mm.
seriously in a way that
Yep.
even kids identify with. And I think the Lord has used that in ways that surprised me. I'm really grateful for a lot of kids who are going through cancer, going through difficult
Mm.
days, or the death of a loved one, or death of a child, or a sibling, or a mother. I've just heard these stories over and over again that these books have been companions in those sort of valley of the shadow of death
Mm-hmm.
moments. And that's not all of
Mm-hmm.
them. Kids enjoy them just they're not focused on that, but I think there's something authentic about the pain in it
Mm-hmm.
that kids relate to. And I need those kind of stories to like help me to be brave and to, I don't know, do what's right and to sort of align my heart to the hope for a future mending. So I think that's all in there. But that came out of that year. So that was the year of writing it. And when by the time we were releasing it was, I think things were better in some ways, but I was still this sort of the same guy
Mm-hmm.
who had these kind of weaknesses. So there's humor in the Green Ember books for sure, but they're very sincere.
Mm-hmm.
They're not winking. It's not sarcastic or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember it went out and it was, I don't know if there was kind of a lull, but when people started getting it, people were really responding
Mm-hmm.
very positively to it. And we released it on Amazon. I remember that we were scared to death. I think I had loaned the company $800, which to me at that time was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that was enormous, terrifying amount of money. I was just,
Right.
and we were like, well, maybe in 18 months, if we could sell out of this first print run, then we could kind of break even and we'll be okay. Maybe we'll be okay over the long term or whatever. But we sold out so fast and
Mm-hmm.
we were reprinting like immediately and we sort of have never stopped reprinting since then. And that was surprising. I didn't know a lot about the publishing industry. I didn't know what middle grade was. I didn't know that term and I didn't know a lot of things. I wasn't really tuned into the market very well, which I think again in the end probably helped because I wrote something that was just so authentic
Mm-hmm.
and had nothing to do with what's hot right now or that was not what was selling and that's not what
Right.
publishers wanted. They didn't want personified animals. That was really old fashioned. So I don't know if it would have gotten published if I'd have shared it
Mm-hmm.
outside. That would have been like a whole alternative story. But I sort of want to disabuse people who may look at what's happened with the Green Ember and think, oh man, and I've heard that from a lot of people. Tell me what you did so I can do it.
Right.
I just think like, well, you don't want my story. Like you don't want my pain. You have your own thing, your own journey. And
Right.
like, but I don't think you want to trade with me. I
Mm.
think that there's a path and there's a path for all of us. And it's not just all been like, yeah, he wrote a book. It's so great. It's super successful. And he was able to quit his job.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is this version of that story that you could tell that would be true and would be just like
Mm-hmm.
all appealing and Hollywood kind of a thing. But the truth is that it's like a lot of, it's like other stuff that we go through in life. Like there's joy in it, and there's hard work, and but I do
Yeah.
remember like I remember being like happy and like excited, really kind of nervous. One thing that started happening is those Amazon reviews started coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and they were, I just kept seeing like, a lot of people say don't read your Amazon reviews, and I think there's two kinds of people: people that read them and acknowledge it, and some people that read them and lie and say they don't read them. But but anyway, I read them, which is like dangerous, when you're
Mm-hmm.
like a fragile head case sort of a writer. But I read them, and there were all these people that were like, I love this story so much. And there were just all these positive things. And I genuinely at that time thought, has my mom made a bunch of made up Amazon identities, or somebody in my family? I was like, is this a conspiracy? Because it was like too good to be true
Mm-hmm.
to me. And I thought, this is like really nice. And there were some that didn't like it, but we had so much positivity at the beginning. I was like, is this a conspiracy to like encourage me? There's a joke about men will remember a compliment, because they got like someone told them their shirt looked good or something 5 years ago, and they're like holding on to that. That's like the last time somebody said something. So there's a little bit of truth to that. I think that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of an encouragement deficit with some men, and I definitely feel that naturally. That sort of naturally have historically been like shy or timid or afraid or kind of needing a lot of encouragement. And then what happened? Truckloads of it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie, I've had tens of thousands of letters from kids saying things like, "We love your books. I'm praying for you." Like,
Wow.
that is, I mean, would you rather have $1 trillion or that?
Right.
What would you pay for that? You couldn't. And so I just feel so grateful. It's been wonderful, wonderful and a shocking experience. But I think it's come through the
Mm-hmm.
way that a lot of things like that do come through sort
Mm-hmm.
of a trial,
Yeah. Yeah.
come through the fire.
Yeah. How has having a successful book series impacted your practice as a storyteller?
Hmm. I think I take it more seriously
Mm.
as a stewardship,
Mm-hmm.
maybe than I did before. When I first wrote the Green Ember, I wrote the second book, Ember Falls, and I remember sharing it with my mom, and it's like intense. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
pretty prominent death, and it's like actually changed the title of that book from, it was going to be called Flight of the Long Treaders, but I changed it to Ember Falls as a signal to parents that like things are going to get tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wanted to signal that a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, but it's intense and dark. It's like Empire Strikes Back a little bit. It's kind of like things get bad. And my mom was like, "You can't do this. Like this is too much. It's too much to ask of the audience to kind of stick." So I thought it was a big test. And my sense was like, I hear that, but I think it's going to work. I think I know this audience. I think I know what they want. It was kind of this
Right.
weird confidence,
Right.
which I was not a particularly confident person in a lot of ways at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Very much a second guesser, introspective, the worry, anxious, like those were sort of terms that would describe me pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this kind of internal sense of like, no, I think this is what is good. This is what is good for the story and for the long arc of the story. Things need to get bad here. And this is what and anyway, we released that book and people loved it. And there was so much support and it kind of continued. And that gave me this confidence that like, oh, what this internal measurement is not perfect, but it's in harmony with these readers in a way. And it's not for everybody. There's always going to be people that are like, oh, I don't like this. This is too old fashioned, or this is too whatever. There's always going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine. That's obviously it's not for everyone, but the audience that it's for, I have a sense of kinship with them that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I follow the path on this, that I feel like I'm being led on, that the people will be there and they will enjoy it, and that's happened. So I think that's changed for me. I've gotten more
Yeah.
serious about it as a
Yeah.
stewardship. I think that's probably the big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I mean, I love it's been so fun to watch the journey, and be in a sidecar in a sidecar somewhere in the caravan. Like, it's not my journey, it's yours. But having the honor of getting to know the whole Smith clan and to see you all take this journey together. And you have stepped into the opportunities ahead of you, and that's been just an encouragement in like, okay, faithfulness in telling a good story. You don't care just about, is it right for, XYZ business decision in the book world. You care, is it right for this tale and for the readers of this tale and the future readers of this tale? And that I appreciate seeing that. And I think that that's, as we at Bandersnatch talk about books off the beaten path, I think The Green Ember falls in that category, that there's all sorts of reasons why it shouldn't do what it did. And yet it really has. And that's really
Well,
cool.
I just say, I
So,
want to say thank you, Carrie, for your
yeah.
role in it. Thank you so much for what you did at the beginning and have done since to help. And that's a good example that the Lord is at work. And it's just, it confronts me all the time, the reality that I was not clever enough or resourceful enough or brave enough or even calm enough, or like the roots of it are so modest and beyond modest. There, it was like out of the pit for me. I mean, a lot of those Psalms that David is, where he's just down in the dumps,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
that's where the Green Ember came from. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
that from the very beginning. And then even just like I remember early on, we went to we have friends. You mentioned the Withy Wendell guys, like David.
Mm-hmm.
The Cersei had a conference, and so me and Andrew went down to this conference. So
Yeah.
we didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. We weren't clever, we're not idiots, I guess, in some ways, but we went there, and that was our first event, and it was just because we knew them, and I liked
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
people, and so we went down there, and I think he called me. He was like, "Do you want to do a table?" We're like, yeah, we'll do a table," and they were full, so we set out outside the bathroom, which actually was good because everybody has to go to the bathroom. But we didn't have
It's
any
true.
idea. But I remember going to that thing, and there were a bunch of people in sort of like classical Christian or homeschooling sort of circles. Like,
Lots of suits and ties at
yeah,
that
that's true.
conference.
But I remember we came in, and there were people saying like, "That's the Green Ember guy." There were people that were there were excited. We had no idea. That was very early on. So
Yeah.
it was such a weird experience,
Yeah.
but we met a bunch of people there, and they were like, "You should go to like this homeschool conference." And I was like, "What is that?" What, didn't know. So but we
Mm-hmm.
we went to that based on meeting a lady there named Leslie Richards, and she said go to this
Mm-hmm.
thing. So we're like, okay. So we looked into it, went and had a booth. We were right at
Mm-hmm.
home in that place, and the homeschool community was really
Right.
big for us as an audience. But we didn't plan. My point is,
Yeah.
we weren't clever and thinking like, hey, we've got this great idea. We'll figure out, and we'll do that. We didn't do that. It didn't happen. Like I remember the response, and it was all word of mouth. So people just told each other about it.
Right.
We didn't have any time. Had
Right.
no margin at all and no
Right.
money. So
Right.
like we didn't know about. So I remember going to one of those conferences, and people and another author coming up to me and saying, what are you doing for marketing? Obviously, you figured out marketing. Obviously, you know what you're doing. And I literally was like, what do you mean? Like, we hadn't spent any money. We were like posting on Facebook or whatever and starting a newsletter
Right.
and that kind of
Right.
thing. But we didn't have there was no clever kind of a thing. And so, anyway, that whole context of it has just been like
Mm-hmm.
God at work in ways, even that whole thing shared earlier about kids who are going through suffering, that had nothing to
Mm-hmm.
do with, I would love to have like thought, how can I love these kids who are going through cancer or
Mm-hmm.
going through terrible times? Like I would love, that would be such a
Right.
privilege to think and be smart and think, how do I maneuver into that? But I didn't have any planning
Mm-hmm.
about that. I didn't think about that at all,
Yeah.
but the Lord used
Yeah.
it and has blessed. So it just again and again and again and again, it has not been the case. I think we have gifts. I think I'm a good writer. I'm okay. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
a good story. It was a good story for the kids. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I think it's special in a lot of ways, but it's not because I know so many other
Yeah.
writers are so much better than me as like a better writer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What an honor that one other person loves your story or that 10 other people. And
Yeah.
it's a bit of a cliche, I get that, but like, or 100, and you can say it is a cool thing to be able to do it like full time. That's a really privilege, but it's all really amazing. It's astonishing that
Mm-hmm.
people would spend their, especially in this era of just endless distractions and times. Like, I just feel so grateful to the audience, and I don't feel a particular like pride in that I
Mm.
figured it out. I cracked the code. Or, I
Right.
know that's not
Right.
true. I know that this is from the hand of God. But I think my fundamental orientation, I think, in this vocation is gratitude, a little bit of surprise, and then like sort of a
Mm.
seriousness with like, oh, well, God has given me this opportunity, this gift, and I just want to do a good job and honor Him and love these kids as best I can. But I don't, I'm not entertaining a delusion. I don't think that it's because the greatness of Sam. I've just seen too much contrary evidence, like
Yeah.
that's for real.
Yeah.
And then I think of like the body of Christ, like you and so many others that were just like there at the beginning and have been, and it just continues to, like it's other people, it's
Mm-hmm.
moms, it's people just sharing, it's Sarah McKenzie, it's a lady in Alaska who's selling books. I mean, it's far bigger than just what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, switching gears a little bit, you described it as a bench role in a recent Academy Award nominated short film for Evergreen. Can you tell us a little bit about that film? We'll link to it in the show notes so people can watch it.
Oh, yes, and I love Carrie. You understand the sports terminology of a bench player, so a lot of our fellow nerds in the book world don't get those analogies, but I know you do.
Yeah, some of the best players come off the bench.
I can't explain like anything in life without using sports metaphors. So I try so hard. A lot of a lot of bookish people are like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm like, I can't explain anything without referencing sports. Yeah, I did. I mean, those guys, Nathan Englehart is one of the directors and Jeremy Spears is the other. And both of them have been really good friends. Nathan, I love, love, love that guy so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's just the absolute best. But that film is so wonderful. If you
Mm-hmm.
get nothing else from this rambling, incoherent interview, go watch the Forever Green short film. I've been kind of like an advocate for them and making
Mm-hmm.
some connections and just being a pal. I'm just being a friend, just cheer like a cheerleader or a bench player. I did write some stuff. Nathan's initial idea was about the three trees story, which
Mm-hmm.
is a really, look that up, listeners. But it's a really beautiful kind of Christian. I don't know if you'd call it a parable, but so that's how it started. And
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeremy coming on board. I mean, I remember Nathan calling me and I really love this Jeremy guy. Like, I'd like for him to work. What do you think about it? So we talked so much about the project and worked on it. But before, when it was just early on, Nathan had written a bunch of poetry, a lot of poetry about the three trees and how we wanted to do this short. And I kind of rewrote a bunch of that and wrote some more for that. And I've learned that this filmmaking process is so iterative,
Yeah.
so different. Like, I don't write a lot of stuff that I don't use. I mean, I don't know about you for like novels. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I write a bunch of poetry nobody sees, but I mostly am writing for like, I think this is going to go out. Now it's like, and
Right.
who do I get to run that by? Mostly me. Like, it's a kind of,
Right.
novel writing is so independent, but we wrote a lot of stuff that came nowhere near getting into the film. I mean, it was
Right.
gone five iterations ago, so it was just buried. And I never experienced that before, but Nathan
Yeah.
was so comfortable with it. They're so comfortable with like best idea wins and we'll iterate and we'll
Yeah.
change, and we'll grow. And
Yeah.
so I was a part of early writing, and I think I don't know, I got a credit to being part of the story, but the end story I didn't have very much to do with. And I love those guys. They're so it's such a beautiful short, and it's
Yeah.
innovative on the animation front. The music's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's spiritually really powerful, and those guys are very, very devout Christians who were
Mm-hmm.
not the least bit shy about telling a story that was reflective of their faith.
Yeah.
And I respect that so much. So
Yeah.
please, please go check out Forever Green.
Yes. Yes. We'll put a link so you can.
It was
It
robbed at
is.
the Academy Awards.
I know. It was it's so good. And I got to meet Nathan briefly at Hutchmoot last year.
Yeah, he's the best. Talk about a humble-hearted guy.
Yeah.
He is ready to give all the attention and glory to God, and
Yeah.
just an absolutely beautiful human being. His wife Julie is just incredible. I mean, I could tell you a whole story about how we met, and it was
Mm-hmm.
the brief version is who I had a friend who worked at Disney Animation, Ryan Hobby Brunken. We were talking to Hobby, and we talked for like 3 hours just about like family life, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I knew his friend Nathan. He came into my mind, and I said, "Oh, we were about to leave." I said, "Oh, can we meet Nathan?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." He was supervising, I think, on maybe Wreck-It Ralph 2, an
Mm-hmm.
animation supervisor. So he was busy, and Hobby was actually waiting for like instructions for like the next level of animation or whatever. So it's kind of like against the grain. But anyway, we went back there, and he's like, "Hey, you want to meet my friends from West Virginia? This is Sam. It was Josiah, and this is Sam. Wrote the Green Ember." And Nathan said, "What? I was praying this morning about how I could meet you."
Oh my word.
And he had no idea we were in California or anything. And so
Yeah,
he was just, it was
right.
such a strange moment. And we ended up talking there for like hours and just never stopped talking and been friends ever since and
I
gotten
love
together
that.
several times in person. And, people use that term of like, it's a God thing, but
Yeah.
boy, that really, really, really was. And that's a sort of a truncated version of that story, but,
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm.
feel deeply connected to Nathan and love him so much as a brother and excited about whatever he's doing.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Well, we are turning the corner toward the end. I won't say we're wrapping up yet because we still have a few important things. But before we get to the most important part of this, which is our popcorn questions, you have a new book coming. What can you tell us about The Lost Legend?
Yeah, it's the second part in this little Lost Tales trilogy we're doing. The first one was called The Lost Key. This story is set in between the Green Ember and Ember Falls.
Ooh.
There's this little lull, this little gap where some things happen, but we don't know all the details of them. And actually, yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but Heather Pickett, Helmer, Joe, Emma are in this one, kind of back
Mm.
and having adventures that are fun, and then there's a couple of new characters that were introduced in the Lost Key that kind of
Mm-hmm.
carry on. One of them is Fiona Black, and she's kind of a detective type character. She's like unraveling a mystery, and I love those kinds of stories, and I love Sherlock Holmes and Agatha
Mm-hmm.
Christie. And one of the Green Ember books, The Archer's Cup, is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I like her as a character, and then she has a friend Marlon Bard, who's like a minstrel kind of a guy,
He's a bard.
song. He's a bard. Yeah, exactly. That's right. So he plays his little lute and sings songs. I love it. I love The Lost Legend, and I'm super excited. The third book will, Lord willing, will come out later this year. So if you kind of want to
Okay.
stay with the adventure, it's going to be a fun year to get lost in the Green Ember.
I love it. I love it. Do you know off the top of your head what number Green Ember related book this is?
10, 11, 12, 13.
Wow.
13. Yeah.
Kids always want a series.
Yeah.
Sam Smith is here for you. I'm so bad at that because it takes me so long to write a book that I'm like, there might be a sequel when you're 25. And I'm talking to a 12-year-old.
You need to write shorter books,
That's what it is.
These are
Also,
pretty
maybe not start a publishing company. That would help.
yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that.
All right. Well, moving on. Popcorn questions. If you were to walk into a restaurant filled almost entirely with bearded men, what is the story you tell yourself about what's going on?
Wow. I mean, am I thinking this is like a bunch of reformed theologians having a get together and talking about their home brewing and
Oh,
Calvinism?
uh-huh.
Is that
Uh-huh. Yeah,
is that
yeah,
what's
that
happening?
that totally works. That totally works. I will say this question was based on a real life experience in which I walked into a barbecue restaurant and every single person in there was a bearded man. And I was like, what is going on? Turns out there was a Reformed pastors conference at the church down the road.
Wow, I nailed that one.
I mean, there wasn't a right answer. You had plenty of other opportunities, but you hit where the experience came from.
Oh man, how many were bald and had the five solas tattooed on their
Yeah, yeah. I
arms?
don't think anyone had tattoos on their head, but what's happening here?
I'm kind of excited about these questions. This is this is,
It was
this
pretty
is
fun.
different. I've never been asked this kind of thing before.
All right, so second question. If you could instantly learn any language, which would it be and why?
Oh man. And the first one that popped in my head was just Hebrew.
Oh.
I just love the Jewish roots of Christianity. I
Mm-hmm.
love
Mm-hmm.
Jewish people. I love Israel. I'd love to visit Israel. I've never gotten to go. There's such a strong connection, obviously, because of the Lord and because
Yeah,
of so many heroes from the Bible. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Hebrew.
I like that. I
That was
think
a very
that's an
Christian
excellent
answer. That was
choice. That
very,
was a very Christian answer. I mean, you've been such a heathen so far on this podcast that it's a good thing you redeemed yourself.
whew, finally.
As an aside, do you speak any other languages other than English?
I praat 'n bietjie van die taal of Afrikaans, van Afrikaans. I speak a little
Uh-huh.
bit of Afrikaans. I think I could get by with
Uh-huh.
Afrikaans. That's a kind of a Dutch derivative language from South
Yep.
Africa. I did go to a Afrikaans school. They had English as well and English classes,
Mm-hmm.
but that one. And then I spoke a little bit. Gihiklal Ukufuna is Zulu, Gangani. Speak a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of Zulu. I was really
Mm-hmm.
learning that big time when I left. It's more difficult than Afrikaans as far as it's
Right.
super closely related to English, but I love Zulu too. So I can kind of speak a little bit of Zulu, but my Spanish is not worth really mentioning. So that my best would be Afrikaans and then a little bit of Kisi Lala, Gangani, a little bit of Zulu.
There you go. There you go. I like it.
What about you, Carrie? Do you speak
So
any?
I studied Spanish and German in high school, and then I studied Koine Greek in college.
Oh,
I would
okay.
say I mean, Koine Greek, I never spoke because it's not spoken.
Yeah.
That's biblical Greek. But of all of them, German was my best.
Mm.
I've definitely let it lapse, although visiting the Bavarian Hills recently, I did get to pull things out of the back of my brain that I didn't remember were there. And that was exciting, where you're reading a sentence and on a sign, and halfway through you go, wait, I know the gist of this. I understand what's happening here.
Mm. And I took Greek in college too, and that was
That's
going to be
good
my other
stuff.
things. I wanted to speak. I had a lot of Greek friends in South
Uh-huh.
Africa. Funnily enough,
Oh,
I
okay.
learned some Greek from them: Kalimera, Kalispera,
Uh-huh.
Kalimita. But I didn't get very far. Enough Greek, Koine Greek to be dangerous, probably. But
Right.
but that was the second one that got in my head. Is I'd love to love Greek.
Yeah. I got enough Koine Greek that I can now use a Greek to English dictionary.
Yeah.
Or an
Yes.
interlinear. I know how to use the interlinear
Yes.
in order
That's
to.
great. Yeah. Did you
So I'm like,
translate like First John or like
so yeah, we translated First John my first year, and then my second year there was 6 of us in the class, and our final for the class was each one of us translated a chapter of Ephesians, and
Oh
so we
wow,
translated the whole book together, which
that's
was really
cool.
cool.
That is awesome. That was
Yeah,
tough.
it
I remember
was.
I didn't get to the second year. I think I just did the first. And
Yeah.
how cool would that be to just I have some friends, and you probably do too, that they're just absolutely totally conversant. Like go to
Yes.
church with not just a Greek New Testament, but a like Hebrew, and just
Right.
they're just reading it. They're not.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing to.
That.
I'm going to do
Yeah.
that in the new world.
There you go.
That's going to be a big investment for me. There'll be a lot of people that can teach me there, I think. So no problem.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Your rabbits have swords. Do you have any sword fighting skills?
As I turn, have a sword
Oh,
here.
there is a sword behind you in your office.
I've got two swords here. This one was made for me by a kid from a lawnmower blade.
Whoa.
A kid gave that to me in California, actually.
Okay.
So getting that back from California to West Virginia was a challenge, but
That is
I,
exactly the question I was about to ask.
I did it. I think I just put it in my suitcase and was like,
As
yeah,
long as you
no,
check the bag.
yeah. I think I checked it. But I don't have any peculiar sword fighting skills, but
Okay.
I know which end to shove at the bad guys. I think that's the main rule, and I think I'll be able to remember that in the.
I learned that from the Mask of Zorro. So, I mean, oh man. If a genie offered you 3 writing wishes, what would they be? And if you ask for more writing time, then all of your text comes out as lorem ipsum. So you can ignore that one.
Oh man. Oh wow, three writing wishes. One would be people think it's like, oh, you just sit down and write. It's physically very hard to do that
Mm-hmm.
you can't do it for very long usually,
Mm-hmm.
especially as you're getting older or whatever. So I would like to find the perfect posture, to find the
Oh, okay.
perfect
Yep, yep,
sort of
yep.
physical setup
I
to
like
where
that.
I would not it wouldn't be as painful for my neck and back and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I write in a recliner. I'm looking at it right here, but and it's pretty good. I can't write it. I mean, writing at a desk I would probably write for 20 minutes a day if I did that.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my first wish. Wow, Carrie, you're killing me. Three writing
I mean,
wishes.
you don't have to do all three. If you
Oh,
only have one.
I got to get all the wishes. The next thing, I love the Green Ember books, and I'm under contract for a few other books, and so I've got like a bunch of the next books that I know, like what I'm writing next, and what I'm writing next, and
Right.
what I'm writing
Right.
next, kind of. And some of those are kind of responsibility-ish, which doesn't subtract from there. I want that to do it. I
Yeah.
made all those
Yeah.
deals and did all, so I love it. But the idea of just like a completely clean slate that I
Mm.
could have a window of just, I don't know, 6 months or a year. And I keep like working towards this where, but the problem is I'll get that. And then what I do is I create more obligation for myself doing that, which is like an awesome privilege. But I would love to just have a clean slate for a little while and
Uh-huh.
just like, you can do anything.
Yep.
You can do whatever
Yep.
book you want and you don't have to do anything else. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're like this, but like it feels I have like there's like the truant heart of what I'm, that like whatever you're not working on at the moment like gets
Yes.
very attractive because it's
Yes.
easy. It's because it's a
Uh-huh.
beginning,
Uh-huh.
but like you're in the middle of something else and you're like, this is actually tough. So I'm trying to be more disciplined and just I am being more disciplined and like just sticking with my stuff. But maybe a clean slate would be the second one.
Yes. I like that.
Is it okay to say that I'd like to? I immediately thought that I would like to. I don't know if we're talking about genies and it's writing related. I'd like to like hang out with Jane Austen for a while,
Oh. Uh-huh.
or maybe. Or, I mean, I would love to hang out with Chesterton or Lewis or
Uh-huh.
Tolkien. Those maybe I don't know, but immediately I just thought of I'm just going to stick with Jane and just like hang out with her and just talk to her and listen to
Yep.
her and interview her and because I think she's just so gifted.
Uh-huh.
So that's going to be my third. I'm sure later I'm going to be thinking of like all the things I should have said. So right into the Banderpod. Send your complaints to Carrie at Bandersnatch.
Well, okay. Last question. And this one is going to be hard because this one, you may only give me one. What is the number one reason someone should come to West Virginia?
Hmm. I mean, you should just come and visit me. That's what Carrie does. Uh,
It's true.
or visit my neighbors who are much cooler family. Uh, Gosh, I think the first thing is just the nature creation,
Mm-hmm.
the special views. It's not spectacular the way that out west might be, or Utah,
Right.
or Alaska, or even California or something. It's kind of modest or warm,
Mm-hmm.
accessible, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
accessible beauty, warm hills. I have a little song I wrote that has a line in it. The mountains here aren't hard and stark like out west. We're blessed with warm hills and beauty's framed through every windowsill. And I think about like it's a beautiful, warm,
Yeah.
modest sort of beauty.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Sam, you have gotten through the popcorn questions. Well done. Thank you so much for joining us on the Banderpod today.
Thank you. I don't know if you're going to have to release this in 15 installments or something verbose, but I was very comfortable just talking to an old buddy,
You
and so
know,
thank you for having me. This was a really fun
it was
interview.
so great. And listeners, may you find bookish treasures and perhaps a few rabbits with swords in your wanderings off the beaten path. Thanks for listening in to our conversation today on the Banderpod. We hope you'll check out our full catalog at bandersnatchbooks.com. The Banderpod is produced by Rachel S. Donahue, A.B. Donahue, and Carolyn Claire Gibbons. Audio engineering by S.D.G. Morgan. Artwork by Evelyn Warnamendi. Many thanks to our friend Chris Slayton of Son of Laughter for our theme song, Cricket in a Jar. Find links and more in the show notes.